Hello, I'm Bernie,
I'm Abby.
and we are here to celebrate Aniridia Day.
This year's theme is overcoming barriers. We've separated our interviews into two separate videos.
Just because we thought it made more sense and they were a bit long.
Yeah, basically.
As always.
So I'm now gonna ask Mum questions.
Yeah, dreading this.
What do you do?
I think a lot of people ask the same question, actually. What I do is I work for RNIB and I am a Living Well with Sight Loss Coordinator. And what that means is that I support and deliver the Living Well with Sight Loss programme, which is a suite of courses designed for people who are newly diagnosed with a sight condition and are adjusting to that sight condition and need a little bit of practical and emotional support to get themselves up and running. And sometimes we have people who've been sight impaired a bit longer and just feel like they've got out of the loop and would like a little bit more information, or their life has changed in some way. So we deliver confidence building courses on the phone and video call, and when it's not COVID, we do it face to face as well.
What inspired you?
I was inspired to work with other people with a sight impairment, I think because of my own life experiences, and especially when I lost my sight, there wasn't any services around to help you adjust to that process. It was just basically, well, what do you want? And I didn't really know what I wanted at the time. I just wanted someone to understand and kind of acknowledge that I'd had something really terrible happen, and there wasn't anyone around to do that or sort of push you in the right direction. So it took several years of quite bad depression and stuff like that going on. But sort of I'm quite interested in people and how things happen and what the cause and effect is of different things. So I could see that, like, when things happened to me, I could see that actually they could have happened in a different way, or there might have been different methods to make things better. So I kind of was inspired really to help other people sort of get over that horrible period of time, because I didn't really want other people to go through that period of time like I did.
What's your favourite part?
Talking to customers and sharing with them, and realizing that actually I'm not alone, as well as them not being alone, and sort of actually having those common stories and actually seeing the difference that it makes to people. So they can come in like really with their heads down, and they don't want to do anything, and they're sort of really sad. And then after a course, actually seeing that they've applied for a guide dog, or they've gone and done some long cane training, for example, or they've got on the bus and gone shopping for the first time in a long time, or it's improved their relationship or something like that, just the little things, because often it's not kind of rocket science that changes things. It might be just their partner coming along and understanding that sometimes you have to let them learn how to make a cheese and tomato sandwich rather than fussing around and always doing it for them. And they, sometimes they will make a mess, but we're all learning to do things in a different sort of way with our sight conditions. So I think seeing the difference in people and seeing how they grow and get stronger in all kinds of ways, I think that's what I really love to see.
What are the challenges and how have you overcome them?
Myself. And my belief in myself is a big problem. And it's kind of me trusting in what I'm telling people, and possibly sometimes being a little bit over precious about me doing everything when I know I don't need to do everything, and then I get in a muddle. And sometimes taking on people's situations and bringing them home. So it's kind of separating that sort of work life from the home life and that kind of thing. And I have to say, it's kind of like the sensory overload some days when I'm using the screen reader to read the notes when I'm on a course. I'm trying to listen to the participants on the course. They're replying to me. I'm trying to repeat back some of the information from the notes being read by Jaws, and my brain basically goes into meltdown. um, and sort of getting over those things is make sure that you or I take a nice just a little break when it gets a bit too much, sort of after the course. Just take 10 minutes, have a little walk around, go and sit somewhere quiet, and try and sort of use techniques to not panic. So a lot of the time I'm telling people to be positive and be this, that and the other, and there's me having a little mini flap, a little panic inside. But there are often ways around it. I can slow the voice down so that it goes at the pace that I'm speaking, so that it doesn't get too far ahead of me and I don't have to remember too much, because my short-term memory is a bit of a problem, and I'm getting old as well, which isn't helping. And some days are really long, so if we have to go on really long trips, that can be a bit of a pain. And I think sometimes people have this kind of impression that sight impaired people can't teach, or can't do a job like that. And actually, it's perfectly possible. And I quite enjoy teaching, and it is a kind of teaching. I mean, I know they're sort of confidence building courses, but being with adults because they want to be there. They're not there because the government or someone is telling them they have to be there. They're there to improve their lives, and so engaging with those people is actually a really nice thing. So I think that sort of overcomes most of those kind of barriers. And I think sometimes, if I'm honest, and this is a bit of a weird barrier, is because I've become really used to my sight loss experience. I forget what it feels like to be right at the beginning of that journey. And so even though I have got a sight condition myself, I think you have to be really careful that you don't sort of base everything on your own experience. You have to think back. And thinking about a sort of recent experience, I went back to doing long cane because my guide dog retired recently. And when I started, I was like scrunched up, and I had no confidence at all. And I felt like everyone was looking at me, and I felt really vulnerable, and it was horrible. And I've done a couple of mobility sessions, and it made me realise that I'm really good at using the cane. And I have to say, I've used it for 10 years before I had a guide dog. And so there wasn't a problem with my actual functionality of actually I can use a cane. But what was getting in the way was my confidence and my kind of getting the best out of that cane by understanding what it was telling me, and actually using my own voice in explaining to people what I needed, rather than let other people take over and sort of drag me across roads, and letting situations get out of hand. So sort of I've learned to kind of plan ahead and sort of think about what's happening so I can get the best out of a situation. And I'd forgotten all that stuff. Made me far more conscious of how people feel right way back at the beginning of that process.
Last but not least, has anything surprised you?
Oh, how much energy I get from seeing the difference that what I do makes. I think I was quite amazed actually how many people out there actually do really struggle with their vision, and how individual those people are, and that they're, never ever compare your own situation with someone else's situation and say, oh, my sight isn't as bad as your sight and all that kind of, because actually we all have very individual lives. And I think when I started, I thought, I'm sight impaired, I know everything about sight loss, and then realised I know very little. I know about my own experience, but all the time I'm learning about other people, and that it's just a kind of endless spectrum of different experiences. So sort of, and every course I learn something new. I learn a new tip or technique, and so I'm just gathering like a snowball all these different things. which are kind of, it's just getting enormous, but every time I'm learning something new. And I love that, actually. And I'm also surprised at how much admin there is that goes with it. And that some of it I actually enjoy, which is a bit scary. I know I'm a bit weird. About using my cane and stuff like that. I think that if anything surprised me is that I don't care what people think of me. My stick does a damn good job. I can go out for a walk by myself. I can't see anything. And if I think about the average fully sighted person, if you just chuck them in that situation and said, hey, go for a walk and enjoy it, I think they'd be hard pressed to do it. So I'm kind of just proud that I can actually take my stick and go and investigate, and I don't care what people think of me and whether they look or not, because actually their judgment doesn't affect my life at all.
So thank you for watching. Like we've said at the beginning, we've done 2 separate videos, so please check both of them out.
Yeah, if you want to, if you're really bored. But what I suppose what we're trying to say is that don't let your sight condition get in the way of what you would really like to do in life, and enjoy that, and try different things, try something new, live your life how you want to live it, and don't let society or the things that get in the way. You have a big round circle in the middle of your face called your mouth, and you need to tell people what you need and how you'd like what you need done, and so enjoy the rest of Aniridia Day, what's left of it. I'm going to go and make some food now.
As usual, we're posting on the later end of Aniridia Day. There's nothing new for us there.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've been just enjoying it, doing our thing.
Hashtag Aniridia Day.